Welcome everybody. It's Murray Five here, and I'm continuing my exploration into configuring Dynamics 365. And for those of you that haven't been following what I've been doing, this is the episode 10. So yay, 10. So we've been going through, and every episode we've been setting up a little bit of Dynamics 365 finance and operations, and working from the base level up to get, in the end, we should have a fully functional system with all the financials and also the supply chain, and we should be able to do transactions in it, all within the context of Dungeons and Dragons. So we're basing everything in the fictional realm of Faerûn. We're working in gold pieces and silver pieces and Faerûn standard dollars. And all of the characters are also, all the non-player characters are based in this as well, just to give it a little bit, make it a little bit more exciting than US dollars or Great British pounds or all of those silly currencies that we have right now. So what we've been doing over the past couple of episodes is setting up the general ledger. So we already went out and configured the base system. We created our organization, and we've now created our ledger, and we're on working through through the journals in the system. So in this session, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the periodic journals. Let me just go to here. So what we've been doing is where I'm using this this process partly so that, let me get to the right thing, partly so that we can test all of the documentation and the training guides that I've created for you all. So what we're doing is I've got all of this documentation. I've got the bare bones configuration guides that work through and build up on everything that's in the system. So today we're going to quickly run through the setup of periodic journals. Now we've up until now we've created journals, we've created a voucher template or a journal template, and now we're going to create a periodic journal, which could be like utilities. It could be a predefined payment that we're doing over a period of time, or a monthly payment. Everything that is all of those recurring journals that we don't want to have to think about how do we create these every time in the system. So we're going to work through the third module of configuring the general ledger. And just to give you a little bit of an overview, we're going to work through this, and we've got our objective of creating a periodic journal, and then after that we're going to post it, and we're going to see how those work. And it's been a while since I've done this, so we'll be relearning ourselves as we sort of move through this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop up and open up the lab environment, and this is the lab environment that we've been setting up. And what we've got is we've got the Waterdeep Trading Company set up. We've already created that company, and then something that we're going to work with in a second to continue the setup. We've gone out and configured some of the journal names that we're going to be using, and then if we go back and look at some of the journals that we've been creating, then we should be able to see that we've got a number of journals here. Now, just as a side note, if anyone wants to follow along with us and do all of this yourself, then it's really easy. You can actually go up to, right now you can go to Lifecycle Services and you can download the virtual machine, and you could clean it out and you could create a blank database, and then you can go through and set up the system from scratch. If you don't, then just call me, and we've got some lab environments that you can lease for a while that allow you to go through all of this process, so that you don't have to set up a virtual machine. You don't have to use Hyper-V or OneBox if you're running on like a Mac. And so we've got that available to you just if you want to. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a periodic journal. And so what we need to do though is we need to go out and we need to, if I look at my journal names, I've only got the general journal, the intercompany, and the write-off journals. So we didn't, in the previous steps, we didn't set up all of the other items, all of the other journals. So if I look at the documentation that I've got from the previous section, what we'll see, find that. What we'll see is that we had the instructions to set up some of these journals, but also we've got some other remaining journals to set up. Now, I didn't set these up because I didn't need them at the time, and one of them is periodic. Now, I could, if you want, you could go and set all these up in advance, and also you could set up all of the other ones here if you want, but we didn't do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back and look at that documentation, and we're going to create our periodic journal type. So let's do that in the system. So let's go back here to the environment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new periodic journal type. And this is going to be periodic. And this is going to be a periodic journal. And then this is going to be a periodic journal type. So this is the major difference that we have between the general journals and the periodic ones. So what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to create periodic journals. Now, just like, just as we did with the other journals, we need to have a voucher series. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the voucher series here, and I'm going to create a new number sequence. And this is going to be periodic journal. And this is going to be based off the company. It's going to be in the Waterdeep Trading Company that we've got here. And then this is going to, I'm going to call this periodic journal within the number sequence. So what we've now got is the numbering sequence, and when we go out and create these journals, then it's going to have this format for us. And then what I can do is I'm going to also make this continuous so that we can, because we need to, it has to be saved as continuous. And now that we've gone and created that number sequence, then what we can do is we can choose the number sequence for the periodic journal. And now we've created our periodic journal within the system. So these journals can now be used within the application. So if I want to go out and create a periodic journal, then I could say that this is monthly miscellaneous expenses. And I could create the lines for this. And then it's going to be for today, it's going to go post this to miscellaneous expenses as we've been doing in the past. And this is going to be for 100. And what we'll do is we'll offset this to petty cash, coin on hand, and save this. So what we've now done is we've created the journal. Notice that there's no post option up here. So this is because this is a periodic journal. It's not an actual journal that we're using in the system. So now we've got sort of like this template. So we could go out and we could build up this template and use it within, or have all the standard journal or the ledger posting lines or the voucher lines inside of here. But we're not posting to the ledger just because of that. So then what that allows us to do is, now that we've got our periodic journals configured, then we can go out and we can actually run those. Let's see if we can find these tasks. And what we can do is we can run the periodic journal tasks. And then this is going to say what do we want to use for this periodic task, and then this is going to allow us to generate the periodic journal within the system, and then also go out and post that as well. So let me see here. Yeah. So this is just one of the structures that we can use as we're going out and creating additional types of journals that we've got in the system. Now, once we've gone out and created the periodic journal, then what we're going to do is, let's see. Okay, if we wanted to go out and create this journal, and I'm following through this in the system, because it's been a while since I've gone out and actually worked through this. But I can go into the general journals, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new journal, and this time I'm going to create a general journal. One thing, notice that the periodic journal doesn't show up here in the general journals. It only showed up in the when I chose the periodic journal for the creation. So we're going to create the general journal here and select that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the lines. Now, once we've done that, then what we can do is we can go to the periodic journal option and say, I want to retrieve the journal. And so what it's going to do is this is going to be for today, or actually we'll leave the date blank. And then the journal that we're creating is our monthly expenses. And what do I do? Do I copy this, or do I make a copy of it, or do I actually move this journal? And I'm just going to make a copy of it because this is a recurring journal. Let's set the date for today to today. And that's going to process that and create the journal for us. So notice it's gone out and it's put in all the details that we had here for our periodic journal, and it's also specified the amount. So this is $100, because generally these periodic journals are going to be recurring and they're going to be expected journals in the system. So generally we know what the cost is. If we're going to go out and just say, for example, this is an electric bill and maybe it's changing over time, then we can just go in and change this and update it ourselves. And then what we're going to do is we can then post this. And this is going to go out and create the journal. So what we've done is we've created this template, different from the voucher template. Because the voucher template, we just go and retrieve from the system. This is a periodic journal that we can have some control over the periodicity. I don't know whether that's the right term on there. But the period sort of frequency that we've got here within the application. So what we've done is we've set up a periodic journal. We set up that template, a more advanced sort of template than what we were using before. We had to create the journal name for that, which gave us the ability to enable the periodic journal. Then after that, we went and used that within the general journals to copy all the information down into the posting. So also, say for example, if this is a month-end journal, so maybe there we want to have certain postings that are always done at month-end. Then this is another example of how we could use the periodic journals in order to access this. So it's a mechanism in the ledger. It's for me, not quite as exciting as supply chain functionality, but it's an important mechanism that we can use from the financial side. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish here. This was I knew this was going to be a quick session, and then in the next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the organizational structures. This may or may not take a couple of episodes, but what we're going to do is we're going to create business units and cost centers and departments and a couple of other things within the system, so that then we can go out and activate them and add them to our ledger structures so that we can use them. So that'll be interesting, and I'm looking forward to that. There may be a episode in the middle where we talk about some other things, but watch out for the next session, which is in the organizational structures. And with that, we'll close off this session just a little bit early and give you all some time back so that you don't have to spend the whole half hour or so with us.